So guys, welcome back to my channel. So without further ado, let's go straight into the video.
People always looked at me weird when I said school crushes the human spirit. But, isn't it obvious? Let's try to define the human condition in a few words. I'm a god experiencing itself through a human nervous system. I still have a caveman's brain that's programmed to hunt and move and create and dance with life. But I find myself living in a matrix that indoctrinates me into thinking that life is about authority and sitting in a box and being quiet and learning about shit that I just don't really care about. I wouldn't be saying this if we were taught important, life-changing, perspective-shifting topics like meditation and Göbekli Tepe. I know y'all niggas are probably like, what the fuck is Göbekli Tepe? Someone blue commented below. It's the oldest human structure in the world that forces us to rethink human history and where we've come from. Hashtag Anunnaki. But adding things like that would make the next generation and our children and our children's children much more advanced and much more open-minded than where we are currently. But nah, these boys got us distracted and confused and in cognitive dissonance. These boys got me out here thinking I'm badly behaved just because I don't want to sit and be quiet learning some bullshit when I could be sipping my tea on a beautiful day, doing work that makes me feel like I'm here for a reason, moving my body, stretching, and living life. But shit, that's why I dropped out in a nutshell.
The system is designed for you to feel, actually, not even half of the things that we learn outside of the education system is not even what life is all about. You come out here and realize that there's just so much about life that is crucial, but we didn't get the chance to be taught growing up.
We are the first species.
Pay attention, people. Pay attention.
To be aware of evolution, to be aware that we are affecting our own evolution by everything that we do. The babies we eat, the food we eat, the wars we fight.
No way. What?
I'm telling y'all, they always tell you straight to your face and then they act like it's a joke.
Just want to say hi.
Oh, you want to say hi?
That's it. I just want to say hi. How you doing?
Good.
I was on the set of Boston Legal with you. I remember working with you. Great time.
Oh, good.
I mean, I don't know how you do it. You look young.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the hair and everything.
Yeah.
Is it the baby's blood? I mean, I need the secret. You know what I'm saying?
Drinking.
It's crazy.
Yes, drink blood.
That's what I'm saying.
Preferably if the person's alive. God, suck on blood like on the neck.
Keeps you young, right?
Keeps you young.
Like, this guy's pushing 100. He looks younger than these out here. I love this guy.
I gotta move on.
Hey,
Thank you, sir.
it's been a pleasure.
Right.
It's been a pleasure. John Bravo, by the way, screenwriter and producer and director. Hollywood.
If the person's alive, God, suck on blood like on the neck.
Keeps you young, right?
Keeps you young.
Like this.
They tell me this guy's 93 years old. 93! This guy looks 70. Look at that butter smooth skin. I don't even have to explain this photo to anybody. You already know.
Yo, what? Wow, someone would actually think that's a muscle reflex, but I don't know, because at the video it shows that she's trying to open the bag and then she tries to lean forward towards, trying to escape or trying to untie her legs, as you can see in the video. That is crazy, yo.
I'm telling y'all, they always tell you right to your face, wake up.
I can wear her skin over mine. Her hair over mine. Her hands as gloves. Her teeth as confetti. Her scalp a cap. Her sternum my bedazzled cane. We can pose for a photograph. All three of us. Immortalized. You and your perfect girl. I don't know when love became elusive. What I know is no one I know has it.
That audio came out before this video came out. Or this video. Cause she be
Demonic possession in Hollywood is very real.
The moment right before when you're nervous and that other thing kind of takes over for you. Then Sasha Fierce appears in my posture and the way I speak and everything is different.
So she just explained possession. She said the way that she talks changes and her posture.
Roman is a crazy boy who lives in me. And he says the things that I don't want to say. He was born, just a few months ago.
She's saying that she has another personality in her that was created only a few months ago, and she literally summons it.
What up? What up, Roman? What up? Roman's revenge is just about taking control. Saying Roman is here to stay.
And we literally promote this behavior. Have you heard of the Rain Man?
If I do come back, you know my name will be. What's your name gonna be, man? Rain Man.
It's weird because I started out technically, like I used to write all the time, before I started going into the Rain Man thing,
Going into the Rain Man thing. Oh, maybe they're talking about the movie? Let's see how Eminem references it.
My name was not to become what I became with this level of fame. My soul is possessed by this devil. My new name is.
So he just said that his name was not meant to become him, but now he's possessed with the devil, and his new name is Rain Man. All the while making his audience chant Rain Man.
Say Rain Man! Say Rain
Supposedly a demon.
Rain Man is back with Little Miss Sun.
Lil Wayne.
Everybody stay. It's the Rain Man. Can we have a rainy day? Break up. Rain Man, Rain Man.
So do you think these guys are paying homage to some sort of entity that possesses them and allows them to have the abilities that they do? Maybe it's just a stretch.
What? I'm sorry, but yo, what? Wow.
I tried to change. Closed my mouth more. Tried to be softer, prettier, less awake. Fasted for 60 days. Wore white. Abstained from mirrors. Abstained from sex. Slowly did not speak another word. In that time, my hair I grew past my ankles. I slept on a mat on the floor. I swallowed a sword. I levitated. Went to the basement, confessed my sins and was baptized in a river. Got on my knees and said amen and said I mean. I whipped my own back and asked for dominion at your feet. I threw myself into a volcano. I drank the blood and drank the wine. I sat alone and begged and bent at the waist for God. I crossed myself and thought I saw the devil. I grew thickened skin on my feet. I bathed in bleach and plugged my menses with pages from the holy book, but still inside me, coiled deep, was the need to know. Are you cheating on me? Are you cheating on me?
Happy birthday, dear Bricky.
Happy birthday
to you. Make a wish. Make a wish. Make a wish.
and many more.
Right.
Almost.
Whoa. All right, Jackie. Oh, for God. I don't want to know. I don't want to know the details. All right, here, honey. A girl's got to have a present. This is from me. Yeah.
Did you know?
Should we have it? Yeah.
Press its pause.
Please.
Much better now, so whenever you can, just come visit me, okay? Okay.
Shut up. No way.
That is not work. That is not work.
Celebrities are playing each other. They don't really pass away. This is really freaky.
A celebrity back then was this one, and then now today they're this one. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. Okay, hear me out. You ever looked at a celebrity and thought like, something don't look right with you? Either I've seen you before, you look like somebody else, or just something, just something seem off with them, right? What if I told you that every celebrity never passed away? What if I told you that every celebrity is here for good? They're here for good. They've been here since back in the day. They're going to be here for your kids and your kids' kids. They're going to be celebrities for your kids, kids. What if I told you that? What if I told you that a celebrity back then was this one, and then now today they're this one? What if I told you that this person was this person? I don't know how they do it, but they do it. I'm just saying.
Taylor Swift is able to stay relevant for so long because she works with the Illuminati and the devil? There's a huge conspiracy that Taylor Swift is the rejuvenated clone of Zena LaVey, the high priestess of the Church of Satan. Zena is actually the daughter of the man who started the church himself, and they happen to look a lot alike. The lips, nose, eyes, if Taylor just drew her eyebrows on like that, they would be identical. They also have really similar stylistic choices of how they present their hair, their outfits, their lips. And if someone was powerful enough to get cloned, it'd be the person who's the head of the Church of Satan. Also, the both of them are very much into snakes, a huge part of their brand, and handling snakes, and are very big on revenge and this aesthetic. And they're both known singer, songwriter, and performers as if it's just in their blood. Before I show the craziest piece of evidence, make sure you follow so you finally know the craziest conspiracy theories about all of these celebrities and request which you want to see next. Guess when Zena gave up her position as the high priestess of the Church of Satan to pass it on to the next? 1989. So maybe that's when Taylor was cloned, born, and set into motion.
Oh man, you have no idea who that is, do you? Somebody tell me below who you think that is. I made a claim in the last video. I said, whoever controls your language controls your reality, or whatever controls your language controls your reality. I was asked for an explanation, so I'm going to use this man as an example. This man right here, this man changed the entire world forever. And many of you are actually under this man's spell, and you don't even know it. This man died long ago, and he still controls your reality. He controls almost the entire world's reality. So before I tell you who this man is and how he put the entire world under a spell in order to keep the wealthy rich and the poor poorer, first I gotta break down to you what a spell is. Don't worry, it doesn't get woo-woo here. We're going to get into the hard facts of the matter. So spelling. Words. Now, we're not going to cover the definition of the word spell because definitions, as you know today, seem to change often. You have to go from the etymology of a word. So the word spell actually comes from the word spell, S-P-E-L. And it originally meant storytelling, right? It originally meant not only storytelling, but, and we're talking about spelling or spell of an enchantment, by the way. It meant gossip. It meant sermon. In fact, gospel was the good spell. That's what gospel means. So y'all don't even understand when you're being put under a spell. You're being put under a certain narrative, a story, using words to do so. So in other words, you're putting someone using words in a certain way, in a certain order, right? You can put someone under your story. That's what it means to be put under a spell, to be put under a story. This is what propaganda is, brainwashing. They often rename things because words and language control your reality. So I can do things, right? If I can make you believe that something is fictional, even though it's a fact, by showing you a version of it in Hollywood, right? Then you'll associate that with fiction and I'll get away with doing this thing to you. You'll have no idea that it's happening. Let me know if you want a video on gospel, the good tale, right? So the way it works is words and stories affect mentality, which can change the world. And often it does. That's why you see there's a battle for words and meanings today. Today, we're talking about the spell that keeps people divided, keeps humans separated, that makes humans fight one another, and makes humans truly believe there is more that separates us than brings us together. This spell is the race spell. It's a powerful spell that many of you are under right now. You can't help it. And as I explain this to you, that spell will fight you back mentally on this because it wants to stay in control of your mind. If you want me to go over the dinosaur spell, go ahead and comment below dino spell, and I'll go ahead and cover that next. But I'll need at least like 50 comments saying that. Then I'll also cover that for you. So this man's name is William Berkeley. So you can look up what I'm saying about him to go and find out if what I'm saying is true. William Berkeley was the governor of Virginia, and I believe 1609. Don't quote me on that. I don't have it written down in my notes, but I believe it was 1609. Now remember, this is prior to slavery. I mean, I know a lot of y'all are starting to believe this insane new spell they're putting y'all under, which that enslavement of African peoples never happened in America. And my God, y'all really believe it. So if you want me to do a video on that, let me know. But this was prior. So you had African peoples over in the United States prior to slavery, right? And they were indentured workers and they could work off their time. They can get land. They could be free. And this is prior to a lot of the laws that led to, you know, African peoples being something or someone that could be owned by someone else. So William Berkeley was very wealthy and rich, and he was ruling over these, you know, these developments in Virginia. But everybody was supposed to be equal. Remember, they're breaking apart. It's supposed to be new, but he kept giving land and privileges to the rich and the wealthy. And he wasn't treating the European and African workers correctly. He was really ripping them off. And at this time, didn't matter. There was, okay, I didn't even get there yet, but he was ripping them off. So what happened was a rebellion. He didn't act like a leader, so they got frustrated with him and they rebelled against him, you know, due to all the things that he would do. This terrified all the rich people. They got so scared, right? And so William Berkeley came up with something that changed the world forever. He said, you know what? We'll come up with something called whiteness. This is literally what happened. And we'll call the Europeans white, and we'll tell the European workers, hey, you're a part of this club called white with us, and we'll give you privileges based on you being white. I'm not here to discuss white privilege with y'all. I don't play politics. I am not in neither tribe, red or blue. I do not even care about that stuff. So if you want to debate about white privilege and stuff like that in the comments, you go ahead. But that is not what this video is about. You see, the Matrix will change reality. It will create a false reality, but it will make that reality real based on consequences, right? And so using laws, he made this thing called white real, a separate category of people who were treated differently than other peoples, right? And this completely destroyed the revolution that was started by Nathaniel Bacon. We call this divide and conquer. You know, not only was it giving like rights and and privileges to Europeans and taking away from African peoples, but it was also keeping them separate. So a lot of you guys think that segregation was about like white people not liking black people. What was really going on is the wealthy didn't want them teaming up. So they made laws to keep them separate, to invoke this separate of white and black, things that are completely on the opposite ends of the spectrum. Even though my skin isn't black and your skin isn't white, we believe in this. We're under that spell. You see what I'm saying? Another example would be like Irish, Italians, Jewish people. None of these people were considered white. In fact, a lot of them were oppressed. Irish people by the British were considered naked chimpanzees. Italians were hated and lynched. And I don't know what I can go in about, Jewish people on this platform. So, but we know the history. So, but in the 70s or 60s, all that changed because they needed more power. The wealthier, the impoverished were coming together, and so they needed to break them up, so they called them white. So it works every time, this spell. See, they want to keep us disunified because the super wealthy are the agents of the matrix we live in. Remember, a matrix just means a medium or structure in which you develop in a womb. We live in the inverted womb. You have the great mother, you have the devourer mother. The great mother is good. The devourer mother is bad. The devourer mother takes, and doesn't give anything back. That's what civilization is. And we are going to escape this. You don't have to work a 9 to 5. You don't have to do these mortgages. You don't have to create separations based on skin color and race. And none of you are black and none of you are white anyway. Really, all of y'all are just different shades of brown. And the book that really goes in on this is FAMS, Food, Forest, Foraging, Hunting, Anti-Fragile Modern Society. There are free versions in the link at the top of the page. The actual physical copy is right here. The free version is the Audible. So we can get free from all this.
First of all, you have no idea how much torture we went through for us here in Kenya to actually speak or understand English. It was pure torture, and I don't know why nobody speaks about it. It was bad, literally. So there will be days that you are supposed to just speak nothing but English. And if you didn't do that, or if you didn't even speak not even a single word of English, and maybe you just mix it with Swahili or your own mother tongue, it would be so chaotic. They would give you these montos that you would probably hang them around your neck, and you would walk with it until you find the next victim who apparently doesn't speak English like you're supposed to. And other kids would laugh at you. Actually, the motto would be written some crazy, demeaning words that they would make you feel bad about yourself because you spoke other language besides English. It was bad. I don't know. It was bad. This is the reason why I hated school. It was so bad. And then at the end of the day, everybody who wore that motto within the day would go to the headmaster's office and they would be caned. They'll be caned so mercilessly. Like the principal, the headmaster was he was like the god of all caners. He used to cane. Like if you called to the headmaster's office, just know it's over for you. And it was so chaotic. I hated school because of that, really. And I don't know if they still follow the same system, but it was bad. It was bad, y'all. And funny also how they changed our names. Like in my tradition, that is Kikuyu, every child is named according to the character they have or the mom thinks that they had when they were pregnant with them. So for example, my second name is Nyakio, which means hardworking. And then the other people, probably a guy called Mwangangi, which means he roams around a lot. And every name had its own meaning. And they changed that apparently, and we started getting English names. So it was crazy. It was so crazy. And it's also funny how they put the truth in movies just to program us to start accepting certain truths, so that by the time these things are introduced into a reality, we're already familiar with them because they've been feeding us and it has been getting into our subconscious mind. That's how much the spell has power. For instance, look at the word understand. That just means you give someone else permission to stand above you. Understand. That is crazy. Also, this name, good morning. It's good morning and Black Friday.
I want to show you two videos. This is somebody that has 120% survival instincts. Yes, she may have been wrong, but it is better safe than sorry. So I'm telling you today that if a car pulls up next to you when you're walking on the road, run. If a car passes you and starts reversing back to where you are, run. Run. It is better safe than sorry. The world is a very dangerous place right now. So this woman, kudos to you. Then let me show you the next video. So I'm going to end the video here because of TikTok's community guidelines. Something happened here. So you can see the difference, Abby. This lady was opening the gates in the middle of nowhere and a car passed you and started reversing back. It was not a red flag to you. You still continued opening the gates. It came up to where you were stopped and then started driving towards where you were. You were still there. You were still there in front of the gates. It was when the car opened that you saw the pew-pew that you now started running. What saved this lady was that the husband that was inside the car also had a pew-pew too. So immediately, the lady started running. The guy came out with the pew-pew and started shooting. Managed to knock one of them down, and then that one crawled back into the car and then they drove off. This is what we are talking about. That lady should have ran the moment that car started reversing back and stopped. That was her cue to run. If I were her, I would slam the gates and run. Imagine if she was alone there. Imagine what would have happened. Imagine if it was the first woman in that video that was the one opening that gate. That woman for don jackpot tete. So like I said, be careful out there. Some of you will enter a place. You will not even check around to know the nearest exit point. You went to a place you've never been before. You need to check around to know the nearest exit point in case of fire, in case of any issue. You need to build your survival instincts. Build it. It's a gradual process. Some of us are born with it, but some of you that don't have it, you need to learn it.
I mean, in this day and time, you really have to be alert because there are so many things going on and there are so many evil people out here. You just have to be alert all the time.
Watch this video and I'll be right back. Sit down if you're not sitting, because if you don't know this information, it's going to blow your mind. Watch this video and I'll be right back.
In 1997, the rains fell heavily in Ethiopia's northern Rift Valley. Layers of sediment dislodged, revealing an extraordinary find, a human skull. It's one of the oldest Homo sapien remains to be found anywhere in the world. Scientists named the skull Idaltu, meaning firstborn, and Idaltu walked these valleys 160,000 years ago. Dr. Berhani Asfal was one of the scientists who made the discovery.
This is one of the few specimens that we found almost complete. Called the face and the brain case. And the most impressive thing about this is even at this early age, the face is modern Homo sapien. The brain case is modern Homo sapien. The shape from the back is a modern Homo sapien. It's exactly us.
The anatomy and age of Idaltu's skull provided the strongest evidence yet that anatomically modern humans emerged in Africa.
In each stage of the evolution toward modern humans, it takes place in Africa.
When we found Homo sapien Idaltu, it was very important because it pushes the time far back. That means anatomically modern Homo sapiens started walking on this planet much earlier than we thought. And the interesting thing is, at the same time, Europe was packed with Neanderthals, which are completely different from Homo sapiens.
How do we know that the first human beings evolved on the African continent?
The fossil evidence and the archaeological evidence that's come to light in the last 20, 30 years is very, very substantial, testable, and real.
Why do you think this idea was so disturbing in some quarters?
Historically, the science of paleoanthropology or anthropology came into existence at a time when we really knew very little. Africans were considered primitive, heathen, who knows?
In the origins of the subhuman status of Africans begins really in the 18th century, in the Enlightenment, ironically enough.
Yeah, they weren't really considered to be one of our species.
Continuing archaeological finds and now major scientific breakthroughs have confirmed that Africa absolutely was the cradle of humanity.
It's like if we were exploring our past and looking at where our roots are sunk down, we'll find that they're the deepest in Africa, and that's where we get most of our genetics.
Geneticists have identified an astonishing link to our earliest human relations through our DNA. Every living person shares a common direct maternal ancestor. She's known as mitochondrial Eve. We believe that she was part of a small group of humans who lived in this region of Africa around the time of the Adultu skull.
Our common ancestry through the mitochondrial Eve means that our genetic differences are literally skin deep.
What it means is that this was a woman, hypothetically, who lived 200,000 years ago, who had enough daughters in a continuous chain, straight back so that her mitochondrial DNA survived.
Absolutely right.
And all of us today, no matter what we look like, are descended from Black ancestors?
Yeah, that is exactly. That's what happened. All the humans, all the Homo sapiens all over the world, be it yellow, white, black, we are all descended from a common ancestor in Africa.
Ben and Angela, how do you feel about little Machi?
We feel excited having new baby, and at the same time, a bit kind of having nothing much to say. I mean, knowing not what to say from what comes out of the birth.
What do you think, Angela? First time you see Machi?
Well, first time I saw the baby, I'm happy that I have a baby. At the same time, I was surprised to see the blonde hair. Even when I was in my room, where they came to me, some people that saw me there and saw the baby say, it was a strange and a surprise that, did I marry a white? Is my husband a white man? I said, no. How come? I said, I don't know. This is just the way I saw the baby. So.
And you, Ben, when you first saw Machi, what did you think?
Well, it was almost the same, like she was being surprised and at the same time happy to have a new baby, but it was still confusing that we have a blonde, in a complete black family. But I had to ask questions because I never knew actually what it is about, and I'm sure personally that it's my kid.
You're never in doubt.
I'm sure it's my kid, but I don't know why she's blonde. But
you said that they first thought it was for albinism.
Yeah. The nurse thought it was. She was albino. But when they checked the eyes, they said the eyes are clear. Yeah. That is not albino.
But now that the doctors are saying she's not albino, but what are they telling you now?
So, but the midwife that came to this morning, she was saying that it might be generation past, past, that maybe from where the child was, originated from, the blonde hair.
But then in that case, if it's such generations past. Does it mean that there were two whites or mixed race? And if there's a mixed race, it won't come blonde. Actually, normally I've not seen that.
Is there any white? Do you know of any white relatives on either side of your family?
I don't know of white originated relative, but I know that my mom is fair in complexion.
Just only the mom.
But she's from. It's an Igbo from Nigeria.
But she's still black.
She's black.
Yeah, she's black. Just the color.
And have you've seen albinos in Nigeria, and do they look like?
No.
This one is different from the real people we call that's albino. The eyes always they blink their eye, and even the head, they shade their head. So they can't even see very well. But they say the eyes of my baby is okay, clear, so it's different from what we judge as albino in our own back home.
And the name Manchi, explain.
Manchi is the beauty of God.
Yeah, that's as the name implies. That's it. We think it's a thing of beauty, nothing else. Yeah. And the name just came looking at her. We didn't just decide that we will call her this before she came out. But we thought that's what her name should be. We just agreed on it. So that's how she.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thanks,
welcome. Yeah.
That's the Eve gene right there. Funny thing is, we're not taught this in school. This is our history, this is who we are, and everybody deserves to know where we originated from. And that's why there's so much confusion around here in telling us you're separate, you're this, you're black, you're white, you're what, just to keep us separate and knowing ourselves and who we are.
I was today years old when I found out.
Humans inherit mitochondrial DNA only from the mother. So, in order to pass on empty DNA from generation to generation, the mother must have an unbroken link of female descendants. Unlike nuclear DNA, which undergoes recombination, much of empty DNA is passed from mother to daughter, relatively unchanged. If we take a sample of empty DNA from a population and try to reconstruct their matrilineal ancestry using the very slow mutation rate of empty DNA, we might arrive at a single female common ancestor, a mother whom we can all relate to from our mother's side. This is exactly what Can, Stone King, and Wilson did in 1987, and found out that, in fact, all humans alive today do have a common female ancestor who probably lived about 200,000 years ago in Africa. They named her Mitochondrial Eve.
Basically, we're just brothers and sisters.
Percent of women that have breast cancer have a root canal tooth on the same side as their offending breast cancer.
What if I told you that the biggest toxic influence in the body in a chronically ill person is a root canal tooth?
What if I could tell you that the leading authority in cardiovascular prevention, which is Balin Doneen, does not condone root canals in your mouth because of the bacteria?
Of the people that come to see me with chronic illness, the question is how many of them have a dental etiology to the cause of their illness? I would say almost all of them.
The vast majority of chronic degenerative diseases begin with problems in the mouth, infections and toxins, and it's only until those are addressed that you're going to get any clear positive response with your disease.
The reason that root canals have an inherent problem is that because we know that nowhere else in the body can we leave dead tissue. Anywhere else in the body, your appendix dies, you have dead tissue that doesn't heal in any other area of the body, we know we have to remove that because it's a haven for bacteria and it's not compatible with health. And the same is true in a tooth. A tooth is a living structure, has a blood supply, has a nerve supply. And so when a tooth dies or becomes infected, and we decide to go in and do a root canal, even the best endodontist or root canal specialist can do a great job at cleaning out the main canal of any of the teeth. But what they can't get to are all of these thousands of tubules. You can see if you cut a tooth in half or under a microscope, you can see these thousands of tubules that run out in every different direction at all sorts of angles off from the main canal.
Those microtubules are big enough for a bacteria to fit in, but not much else. And the problem is if you've got 6 to 8 miles of microtubules in a single tooth, it's impossible. You can see why it's impossible to sterilize that tooth.
So, after the root canal has been performed, unfortunately, bacteria still reside within the tooth. And now you have this nice, warm, incubated tooth where the bacteria are able to flourish. And now there is no access from the patient's own immune system to the tooth because in the process of doing the root canal treatment, the blood supply and the nerve have been severed from that tooth, so now the body can't deliver its own immune defenses to help keep the infection in check.